it than in the previous 12 years. On May 21st, the seniors graduated. They were gone off to whatever, and that's not a good day, because that's the day I had Pam call the ambulance and haul me out of here. They took me down, they ran, I thought I was having another heart attack. Well, they didn't think so, and they ran some tests. And then they ran more tests, and then they ran more tests, and then they ran chest x-rays, and then they did CT scan. And there's something for you to file away, this worthless information. It's not a CAT scan, it's a CT scan. I always thought it was a CAT scan, but nope, it's a CT, I was told that. And that came back and they said, you call your doctor first thing in the morning. You have to call your doctor first thing in the morning. Well, I didn't have to call him because he called me before 8 o'clock, and he had set up an appointment down at Stoddard, whatever it's called, cancer, whatever. For Friday, I go down there, and he wanted to put me in the hospital right then. But since that was Memorial Day weekend and all the radiologists and those guys were gone, went back the following Monday or Tuesday after Memorial Day, and they ran a bunch more tests. And they did a brain MRI to see if the cancer got to the brain, which fortunately it hadn't. And then they did what is called a fine needle biopsy. It's a lie. The needle is about that long. And they stick it into you, and they aim it using a CT scan. So you can sit there, and I actually sat there watching little TV monitor. Here comes the needle, here, and I don't know how, but and there it goes out, here it goes in, and there. That was a whole new meaning to life. Anyway, we got the results back on Friday, and we knew what it was, but we now knew exactly what it was. It's a pretty nasty type of cancer in the lungs, about a 3-centimeter mass, 2 in the lymph system here, and numerous little puppies in the liver. But particularly nasty. 5 years ago, if you had this type, everybody who had it was dead within 5 months. I mean, that's just reality. My brother, my older brother, got it. He was diagnosed on June 15th, and we buried him July 17th. They didn't have the drug. What they gave me was a new drug, which is an additional drug that had been approved in '09. Nasty stuff. You go in there on a Monday morning, and they started pumping 3.5 quarts of 7 different solutions into you over a 6-hour period. Well, a couple of things for you to think about. If they're pumping IVs into you, that's at room temperature, 70 degrees. You are freezing. You're cold, cold. You can't get warm. And the other not so good thing is if they're pumping 3.5 quarts of fluid in, it's going to come out. And that's the reality. So, but that would be Monday, Tuesday feel kind of normal, and then Wednesday, oh my God. That's when the stuff would kick in. And I had about every possible side effect you could have. Joint stiffness, yep. Muscle soreness, yep. Fatigue, yep. Shortness of breath, yep. Vomiting, no, missed that one. That was good. Constipation or diarrhea, oh yeah. terminal, I thought. Loss of feeling in the fingers and toes. Yep. Loss of taste, loss of smell. Yep. Yep. What else was it? I mean, you name it. Basically, for the next 2 weeks, plus, it felt like you were being beaten severely with a baseball bat continually. Your body just ached. Other side effects, it is going to kill all fast-growing cells. Fast-growing cells are things like cancer cells. Yeah, that's good. Other fast-growing cells are your hair, your eyebrows, your eyelashes, your fingernails, red blood cells, epithelials in your intestines. So you're exhausted. And just about the time you start feeling semi-human again, we do the whole process all over. This went on for 12 weeks. Good news is that nasty treatment did knock out most of the cancer, but over 90% of the cancer is gone. The one that's up here is down to less than 90%. The two in the lymphatic system don't show up on x-rays anymore. The livers don't show up. They're still there in tiny little ones in a CT scan. But they're not doing anything. They will start doing something again in the future, but not now. So since roughly the middle of August, I've been done with the chemo and I'm getting a chance for the body to, shall we say, recover. Well, along the way, we found out I also lost about, at one point I was down 85 pounds. That's a little bit. I'd been taking all kinds of blood pressure medicine for the heart attack. Well, when you lose 85 pounds, you don't need that blood pressure medicine. So what ended up happening then is blood pressure went down and down and down. And Deej, you've had anatomy. What's normal blood pressure? You're going to have to lower your grade.
And he can.
Mr. B?
120 over 80.
About 120 over 75 there, but it's normal. But in the doctor's office where I go, and they took blood pressure, 78 over 50. And I just said, that can't be right, I'd be dead. I checked it again, the doctor checked it. Yep, that's right. Maybe that's why I'm exhausted. I'm not pumping any blood to the body. So they took me off all the blood pressure medicines. And now I'm at about 120 over 75, which is a lot better. But still the red blood cells are about 1/3 of normal. Hemoglobin's less than half of normal. So no hemoglobin, no red blood cells. We can't carry blood. The blood can't carry. There's not enough blood cells carrying oxygen through the body. So if I walk 50 feet, I'm exhausted. I've got to sit down and catch my breath. Good old lactic acid kicking in. So I can walk from the house to the car, and I got to stop and rest. Go to Fairway, I can park the car, walk into the little motorized little wheelchair, and I got to sit and rest to catch my breath. It really sucks. Blood sugars are about 4 times normal. So they got me on insulin, getting that down. And now it's down to roughly twice of what it should be. And they're going to keep pumping up the dosage. Hopefully sometime soon the red blood cells come back to normal. You guys talked about being able to smell the pine cones. I would love to smell the pine cones. I cannot smell anything. I can't taste anything. I eat. I got 4th choices. It's hot or cold. It's creamy like baby food, or it's crunchy. That's it. There's no taste, no appetite. You sit there and go, I gotta eat. What are we gonna try to eat today? And sometimes it doesn't work. I'm getting a few smells coming back, and it's really kind of neat when you get something. That's a new, because it somehow triggers a gag reflex. I get what I call dry heaves. Anybody know what that is?
Yeah.
What?
There's nothing coming out.
Nothing, you should go, blah, blah. You're just, oh, Jesus. Beat me with that baseball bat again. Like I said, I got no feeling in my feet. I can walk, but I've got to see what because I cannot tell what I'm walking on. I could step on a nail and not even know it. I can now turn pages in a book. I've got it just without having to sit there and dig through it, because I'm getting a little feeling back there. So that's, ultimately, the cancer that's left is going to kick back in, and there is no treatment. The doctor said when they started this treatment, that I had this nasty treatment, that there was a 40% chance of success. That's 60% chance of not. Well, the last time, he said, well, you beat the odds. You're still alive. And that's my only job. Stay alive. And maybe they'll come up with a new treatment. So the biggest thing to remember, stay vertical as long as you can, because horizontal is forever. Any questions? Yes.
So, you said your brother, did he have the same type of cancer? Is this
He
hereditary?
had, no, it's not hereditary. He was hit mainly with the lung and the liver. But it's not hereditary at all. That's the other thing. They talk about cancer like there's this one disease. There's countless different types of cancer.
Do they know what caused the cancer?
I don't know. They even care. For the last 5 months, I knew my blood sugars were out of sight and I didn't care about them. Because that's one of the biggest problems is people on chemo, and that they start losing weight and losing weight and losing weight. So you eat whatever you could keep down. So we got this cancer kind of, I don't want to say in remission, but under control. So now we started worrying about the other things.
You said you don't have a sense of smell or
Yeah.
taste. Why is that?
The chemo.
The chemo? Like,
Yeah.
does it just affect?
It's one of the side effects. I mean, I told you I had, there's about, 25 or different, and I bet I got nailed with at least 20 of them. And this just happens to be one of them with the chemo, is that it blasted my sense of smell. Now I'm getting some things back. You run into, oh, I remember that smell. And sometimes you get a smell that's when I get those dry heaves. I don't know what it is, what sets it off. I was out doing leaves, a month ago, and all of a sudden, just the smell of the leaves, and that was enough to set them off. Okay.
Doc, I got a quick question. Does being a man of science help or hinder you in your journey?
Probably helps because I know what's going on. I know what's going to ultimately happen. I know what they're trying to do. If I had no clue